What do we have here? All right, we've got a special instrument, my mate, and there it is. My man's Robert Mason. He's got himself a guitar he's been using for many, many, many years, and we can tell just from how green these frets are. And how much corrosion we got on all this kind of stuff. And a lot of spackling. It's all good, you know. Just means that it's been played and gigged. It's a beautiful guitar. He's had this for many, many years. This is a RG7, and I believe it is, yes, made in Japan. So this is one of the old school. It's a great looking guitar. Action is pretty good. I think we can get much better than that. And go ahead and put it on the bench and get it ready to go. Whoa, look at that tremolo. Holy smokes. We'll go ahead and fix that one. Get that much more level and figure that out. And I'm sure we're going to have maybe some scratchy pots and some other different things, but we're going to go ahead and address all this stuff. So I'll take some pictures while we're in the light. You can kind of see the rub marks and all that kind of jazz. And we'll see what it looks like when it's finished. So we're just identifying some of the things that we can fix here. We've got a lot of corrosion on those frets, so he's going to be real happy to see how crazy shiny these things are going to be. Just getting all that muck off of here. Get all those things pulled out. And we've got a couple of things we just need to lube up. Get this in the back. Get that cleaned up. This is actually pretty silent. I'm pretty impressed with that. That's actually not in bad shape, so that's all good. And we'll just start taking all these pieces off. Prepare the frets while we let those things soak. Alright, so we have looks like it's RG7-620. So it's stamped inside here. And what we got here is RG7, and I'm sure it was 620, but they drilled a hole through it. So we've got some work to do on this guy right here. You can see there's substantial pitting just from years and years and years of fretting cords and stuff like that. So we're gonna have to level all that and then recrown, polish, and the whole shebang. It's gonna take me a minute, but it is well worth it. So now that we got all of the frets leveled, basically now we need to go ahead and crown them. Also cleaned up the fretboard, got all the gunk off. We'll give that a nice buff and shine. We're gonna go ahead. There was one little spot right here that's got a pretty substantial ding. Really tough to get out, but I think it'll be okay. Everything else seems pretty good, but the fret rocker pretty much, you know, it's pretty solid everywhere, so we're not going to have any kind of issues. So this is going to play even better than the factory ever did. So next step, we grab let's see what we got in here. We have it in here. Yep, we got it right here. We got our Z file. So we're going to go ahead and crown these things. Got to put some marks on them with the good old marker, and then put a hairline strip on there, and then we'll start polishing them up. Done. Here's the last part of the frets. You can see how thin the lines are on the ones I've crowned. So they are perfect. They're ready for polishing right after these last like 6-7 frets. And we'll be good to go. Start polishing. So we are done with the crowning, and we're done with the fret erasers to this point. And some people would just stop here because it's good enough. But I rounded off the edges of the frets. You can kind of see these are kind of squared on the tops. They're not so important as the finger parts, but those are nicely rounded, and they will really show with the Dremel. So I'm just going to polish these a little bit more with some steel wool, and then I'm going to break out the Dremel and polish these things up. So that's after the steel wool, which looks pretty good. That's how I used to do it. It's got a nice shine, and it's pretty smooth. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. Definitely would get the job done, but we can see all these little tiny sparkles and specks all over the frets and stuff like that. This compound I'm going to be using right here this will take that stuff out and it will be gorgeous. I'll show you before and after. Pictures just don't show it. You got to see it under the light. Those are some very, very mirrored frets. So we're just going to use some naphtha just to clean up the buff marks and everything like that. Clean up the wood, get all that ready, and then we're going to oil the fretboard and then polish the frets one more time, and then we should be done with this neck. It's beautiful. Well, take a look at that result. That is just a slight bit better than green. Smooth as butter. So that will fret very, very nicely. Yep. Don't get those from the factory. So I have finished the neck completely and done the buffing and everything else. So you can see what this looks like compared to what this looks like. That's a pretty substantial difference. So that's super, super shiny. So I'm very happy with the neck. I'm gonna go ahead and buff and polish everything on the front and the back of this. Couldn't get this thing off, so I'm just not gonna pull it, and it seems like it's fine. I've just got to lube up these different parts and tape these things off so they wouldn't get any corrosion. Just pull them aside, and we'll get rocking and rolling. So just a slight improvement over what it was there last time. Pretty much a mirror now. What you see right there is actually just dust. See, it's no spots. So it's not reflective. It's actually just picking up the particles in here. But it is beautiful. I mean, the pickups look a lot better than they did. They're very tarnished. All right, now the gross job of cleaning all the corrosion off of each one of those things with this thing. So that's gonna clean off all the screws, but you can already see right here, it was all completely corroded. Now it's just a shiny screw. All right, bring it back together. So here is the Ibanez Edge, made in Japan. This is not in terrible shape. I just need to get in here and just kind of buff it up a little bit. But I don't really see too much. I'll just take those plates off so I can clean them up. So they're super, super shiny. Get a little bit of corrosion back there, but not too bad. But that's about it. I need to take a couple of pieces off here, and that's it. Rock and roll. Nothing like an overnight soak to get all the parts, getting all that corrosive nastiness off. Gets all in there. Just gonna clean it up with Q-tips and all that kind of good stuff. But most people panic when they see all these different parts and they don't know where it all goes back. But it's pretty basic when you think about it. Like there's 7 tuners. So there's 7 of these little screws that go in the back of these little posts. There's 7 of these things right here. There's 7 washers. 7 of these, 7 of those, 7 of these, 7 washers, 7 of those that go back in here. And there's 2 of those. 4 of these. These are different size screws, so they're going to be for the longer parts of the inserts. And these are going to be the shorter parts. There are, looks like there's about 10 of those. Those are for the plates that go here. So pretty basic. And then there's 3 screws here that go for this little cover plate. These 2 with the washers that go to the back of this. Obviously you can make, sense out of all of this, and then the string trees. Got 2 of those. So it's very basic how I lay things out. You can keep them in separate containers. Like take one of these, for example, and then put, say, tremolo parts, and then you can just label it like that, tremolo parts, and then you can put tuner parts, and you just keep them separated and stuff like that. But anyways, that's how we do that. Then we can put that together and get this thing rocking and rolling. So this is an interesting one. Normally, these things usually have some kind of a radius that goes on them, but this right here, as we can see, we've laid it out completely flat. It does not have any differences in radius. They're all exactly the same, which is very odd. So this radius on this fretboard must be a really, really flat radius for that to be a possibility. But That's just interesting. I've never seen a tremolo that didn't have any kind of radius parts. Normally they're thicker in the middle and thinner at the edges and stuff, so that's unique. Oh, there's the after. Super clean, no more corrosion, everything's oiled. Parts will go in very, very nice, and all the gears are going to be really, really easy to work, so it's going to be performing way better than it used to. So we've only got a few more parts to put together. The neck is totally done. We've got all of the tuners on here. Everything is very, very pretty. See how reflective that surface is. And we're ready to rock and roll. So we just got to go ahead and put this guy on there. I'm going to put an extra spring because the tremolo is pretty jacked up as far as like how high it was. So we're going to go ahead and tie in another spring for that. Stole one off another guitar. And see what's next. Sweet. We've got this thing all put together. Just gotta go ahead and string it up, intonate it, start rocking it out. Never actually played this guitar, but it looks beautiful. It's an original Fujijin, Japanese made. So it's got all the special stuff to it. So get this thing rocking. Well, that's a finished product. Quite a substantial difference. Looks dirtier because of all of the light kind of emulating off of that stuff, but it's all been cleaned up. All of the gunk is off of that. Let's see how good those frets look. Took the action way down as well. You can see I fixed the trim because it was popped up. I mean, it was like when it was there before, it was like way up like that. So it's definitely not supposed to be that high. Yeah, turned out beautiful. So now I just got to intonate it, get it ready to go, and then send it on back. So here we have it. It's all done. We got this on Soldano Slow 100 that I just built. So I'm getting a chance to play it up for the first time. But it's all perfectly intonated. Strings are brand new. So it's still a little bit falling out of tune a little bit. Play 7-string very much, so let's put it on some lead. Enjoy your new guitar, Robert.